This week, don't even think about counting us out because we are looking at which movie takes the crown in this week's Flame Off. What is the best comeback movie? That's right. Who's got what it takes at the end of the line, bottom of the fourth, that one last inch, so many other metaphors. Yeah, come on in. This is 24 frames per second. Welcome to another episode of 24 Flames per Second. I am your host, Quasi Phillips, and this week it is time for a Flame Off, where we try and find the movies that take the top spot in a new category each episode. Today we got a good showdown here to help us find out what movie is the best comeback movie. Are these the movies you thought? Maybe, maybe not, but our panelists this week are here and ready to bring the heat and prove which movie is going to come back strong. I'm so excited. Welcome, one and all. This is our first episode of the new year. This is so great. Welcome back to the 24 Flames family. I hope everybody had a healthy and safe holiday. I know that's not always the case, but we're just reaching out. Everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all. Again, I'm Quasi Phillips, but we have an amazing co-host with us this week, the amazing, incredible Casey Rom. Casey, what's up?
Hey, happy to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm recovering after 2 short weeks for the holidays and
Yep,
trying to get my work brain back on, so I'm happy I
it's
had
never
something to
enough.
look forward to today.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad. It's never enough. It never feels like
No,
enough.
no.
Yeah, I had to. My girlfriend and I, we both had to cancel our respective trips for the holidays this
Mm,
year, which really sucked. I was going to go to Ghana. She was going to go to her friend's wedding. Didn't work out, unfortunately, but I
yeah.
think it was probably for the best because I was worried I was going to be trapped abroad with no way of getting home. So I'm glad that that didn't happen. Still got to celebrate. I saw the IG stories. I was there. You know,
Love it.
that's how I feel. But you know what? It's all good. And yeah, I feel that stress. I feel that that new Monday stress. Miss
Mhm.
it's been a while, but oh, taste it's back. Oh yeah. Well, good. Happy to have you on. Are you ready to judge away?
Yeah, I
We'll give you the
really
gavel.
I really love being the judge, so I'm always
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah,
ready.
you and Chris both are every time we record these, like, this is a perfect job.
Yeah.
I love this. Well, great, because guess what? We have an amazing panelist joining us today. His name is Evan Christopher, and he's joining us. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy you're joining us. I know you're feeling a little under the weather, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little under the weather. I definitely caught the vid. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
my
I
man.
don't have it confirmed yet, but it feels like it. I've been dodging it for 2 years now, and it finally
Yeah.
caught up to me.
It's finally it's that part in the movie where they say, go on without me, go."
Yeah, you would. Yeah, yeah. I can feel that trope already hitting me right now. As
Oh
I feel
man,
like my own family was the one who
yeah.
like you know that trope of the zombie movies that somebody
Hmm.
gets bit or something
And then
and
they
doesn't tell
hide
the others.
the scar on their arms.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I feel like what happened to me this holiday season.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You
brother.
know,
I'm
I
sorry.
dropped my guard. I listened to my family to come out, and
You know, you let your guard down for 1 second, the Omicron just snatches it, snatches you.
it's my excuse now when they're like, "It's we're having family functions." Nope, not doing it again.
COVID,
Not do it no more. I don't get
COVID. Fool me
COVID and get
once,
trapped.
fool me once.
You gotta find
Oh
those
man,
silver linings, you know? You have a permanent excuse for life now to not spend time
yeah.
with your family if you don't want to.
Yeah, it's like 3 years later. I got the long vid. I'm sorry. I can't.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
Well, great.
not
Well,
worry.
thank you so much for joining us. It's time for the comeback show. Okay. It's you and me today.
Yeah.
It's you and me.
And
Casey's
I'm
got the gavel. And we're talking about our movies. But let's start with you. What did you bring today? What is in your opinion, the best comeback movie? What do you got?
I brought the movie that I think is what one could say, possibly the ultimate, probably the most perfect movie that has ever been made.
That's high praise.
Which
That's high
fits
praise.
into so many different categories. It would be the sequel to Aliens,
There you go.
by James Cameron with Sigourney Weaver.
There you go. All right, so tell me about it. Why that one?
Well,
What's that movie about?
this movie is about a woman named Ellen Ripley who had survived an attack by an alien creature, and in doing so, accidentally was frozen for well over 70 years, almost passing by Earth until she is rescued. And you find out that her entire event that had happened to her has been completely like stricken from the record. They don't want to believe her. Also, she has outlived her own daughter who has died. So she has survived the attack of this alien and come back to probably not the best um, situation, but she's alive and she has a job. And eventually, the company that she worked for has to ask her to come back to the same planet where they found the alien because they had another problem that happened there and they wanted there as a consultant. She goes back so she can have a somewhat better life and finds out that yes, the aliens are there and have proceeded to kill everybody. Where she and a plucky group of Marines that have survived fight off the alien menace, also saving a little girl along the same way. Who has survived the alien menace, and eventually the little girl gets kidnapped by the alien queen, and she has to go back against her own fears to fight off the alien queen and save the little girl, much like her own catharsis for missing out on her daughter who had died several years beforehand. And they all escape to go back to Earth as a somewhat pseudo quasi family.
Would have had to have happy ending, right?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, that's great, man. Thanks for coming with that. I'm excited because I have to lay it down. I have a comeback story. It's gonna be it's gonna beat a What are the aliens called? Xenomorph? What are they called? Is that it?
Xenomorphs, Lingophoda, Delapoda.
Xenophorus? What are they called? Sephoras? What are they called?
Sephora's.
Well, we're talking my movie today. We're talking about 8 Mile, the acting debut of Marshall Mathers, aka Eminem. We're talking about 1995 Detroit. Jimmy B. Rabbit Smith Jr. He's a unhappy blue collar worker who lives with his mother and younger sister, and his mom's live in abusive boyfriend in a trailer park in 8 Mile, Detroit. Um, he works at a local car factory and he also raps on the side, and he goes to the shelter with his team, the 313, uh, where they rap, they goof off, they have fun. He goes on stage, completely chokes in front of the Free Roll, which is another rival group, and leaves the stage completely humiliated. So he is trying to deal with that ramifications of that, trying to stay positive, be with his crew, but that it just keeps chasing him. He wants to keep rapping. He wants to make something for himself. He has a friend named Wink who's gonna say, "Yo, I got a setup. We'll be able to rap. You get some studio time." He starts to meet. Things seem looking up. He meets a great new girl played by Brittany Murphy, who he thinks, "Oh, maybe there's something here." And things start falling apart pretty quickly. His best friend shoots himself in the leg. His mom starts thinking that she's gonna get evicted. Wink sleeps with Alex, Brittany Murphy's character, and he gets the shit beat out of him by the free world. And he just feels like there's no way for him to come out, but through the support of his friends, Makai Pfeiffer, the future plays future, and through his full skills as a rapper, he comes back, pumps up the courage, starts getting more work at the job, and goes on stage and kicks the shit out of everyone in the free world, lets everyone know his place, and then goes back to work. It's great. It's a perfect little cycle of humility in there, and it's a comeback story of him trying to succeed and push himself through continuous obstacles, and a lot of what people in blue collar America do experience. So, yeah, it's just a great some little slice, a life story for one of the most successful rappers of all time. So yeah, but let's talk. So we got comebacks. We got aliens. We got rappers from Detroit. there's a clear, obviously,
Yeah.
there's a similarity there. This format of podcast brings so many weird things together,
Oh.
and this is what we're here for. But what do you think, man? So aliens, what makes, like, where do we kind of see Ripley at the beginning of this? What makes kind of like, she's obviously gone through so much herself, right, in this point in her story,
Well,
and
yeah.
is even like, where she's this type of person is obviously, she's kind of set up for a comeback, right?
Yeah, I mean, and starting from the beginning, like you said, let's look at it. So Ellen Ripley has survived probably one of the most traumatic events anyone could survive. Surviving an alien attack, losing her entire crew and family, um, to be accidentally forgotten about, and just luckily was able to be found 70 years after the event. She has no family left. She has nobody left. The own company that would take responsibility for it um, takes no responsibility and has, in a way, blacklisted her from being able to continue on to having a better job or life. In this kind of way, like, you could also look at this, that Ellen has already gotten her second chance already. Like, she's made it back to Earth. She's safe, right? She doesn't have to worry about the alien menace ever again, right? But now she has become so troubled and with her own nightmares from the traumatic experience or PTSD that she's had, um, plus a little bit of manipulation and massaging from Burke, the company head who's on her side. I use quotation marks there. Uh, she accepts it because she would like to have a much better life, and she proceeds to then go on to go back to the place where it all had begun, because they had lost contact. So in essence, you already see that she is having a um, I forgot the word here for a second. Not literal.
Figurative.
Uh, Thank you. She's having a figurative
Yeah,
comeback.
that NyQuil hit
Um,
hard. I saw it
yeah.
happen.
It put a block right there on my brain right there and was like, you can't say this word. You need a password in order to say it. So figuratively, Ellen Ripley makes the ascent back through her traumas to be able to get herself a better life. Um,
Mm.
but she also has a literal comeback because she literally comes back to the same place where all of the problems had started from and continues the story from that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's something in there where, whether or not, anyone survives something like that, the fact that you have to then wake up and continue living your life, and even like being robbed of everything that your experience was, it's kind of a crazy way to start.
Right.
Where do you even go from there,
Well,
It's
the other
wild.
thing about the mental fortitude and
Mm,
like, I think it's left up to the audience of whether or not the choice of them going is out of a bravery aspect or a
mm,
literal desperation aspect, because they're not so far off where they're not able to take care of themselves, but they're not able to get the help that they need. So
mm.
the question really does, kind of land for the audience's perception of, is it a bravery thing for Ellen Ripley or is it a desperation point at this?
Interesting. What do you think it is?
Oh,
Where does it
for
fall?
me, for me, I feel it's a bravery thing. I can't not deny that there is some point of desperation that I feel,
Sure.
but from my own like internal thinkings of, if I had just survived that,
Hmm.
there's nothing that would have made me want to go back.
Yeah.
Like, with everything that's already said about there, like, I feel I could go back to Hollywood, make a fake ass movie about it, rake in the
Yeah.
bucks, and then just be like, all right, I've sold my trauma to live an okay life.
Yeah. You think this story won't get options in Hollywood? You crazy.
Yeah.
You crazy. Yeah. Well, the mental fortitude, I think, is what makes like the story, like the comeback story, really important, because whether or not it's developed from the pain, or it's already kind of where someone starts, it's important to see that in the protagonist, in our heroes. And that's why I like Jimmy, like B Rabbit, in this story, because he already is someone who's ready to work. He's already someone who you can see in like the way he lives his life, that it's like that type of struggle, that of like consistent work, that like this is the only way out, that you have to do this in order to kind of succeed, to feed, to feel that your dreams are gonna come true eventually. And yeah, he does stupid shit with his friends. Who doesn't? But it's still, you do see that there's nothing that's gonna get in this guy's way when he thinks about what he's really good at, which is his rap. And there's a bunch of different things that kind of block that, his confidence, but that skill is kind of undeniable. And seeing him start to win a little bit, and it's so relatable, that type of thing where life, you have something that maybe you think is gonna work, and then life starts handing you little wins, like, oh my god, I met someone really cool. Oh my god, someone says he can get me into a room with somebody. Oh my god, like my friends are like supporting me. I feel like maybe we have a shot here. And things are, I still am working, but it's still something that I'm feel like something's happening. And that's the type
Mhm.
of thing where those little confidence boosts can either make or break you, where you feel like, oh, I'm good, or you start to relax, or things can go off the rails, which is what we see with B Rabbit. But
Yeah.
um so that's what I like about it, is because it's that type of little underdog story that's, so it seems small and humble, but it's so powerful in kind of identifying with the type of shit that people do struggle with on the daily, where it's like, god damn, this happened again. Oh my god, I can't deal with like another thing that goes wrong, that you have to deal with and keep going with, because capitalism doesn't let you stop.
Well, I mean, is it interesting to you that having for B Rabbit is not your conditional, I would say, plucky, optimist protagonist, as
Yeah.
typically as it would be, our protagonists are always usually optimistic at first, and then lose something, becoming pessimistic to then just regain
Right.
their optimism. Compared to, I would say, for both of our characters, honestly, are
Right.
very pessimistic.
Yeah, yours got kicked in the ass on a galactic level.
Yeah, I would say that
But-
Ripley maybe started as the optimist in the first movie. And
right.
so you have an interesting argument here between the two of you, because Evan, you have more backstory from Alien, if people are consuming that. Um, and, Quasi, you've got Lose Yourself. And that's pretty much
Certainly. The
someone
great
could get
backstory.
someone could get the whole story in that one song. And
Yeah, but you don't get the full song until the end. So you
no,
gotta you
it's true.
gotta earn it. You
No,
gotta
it's
earn it.
almost like Alien's legacy came before and 8 Miles
Hmm.
legacy came after, but they both
Right.
have like a really strong presence in pop culture, and so I feel like people can reference these movies even if they've never seen them or haven't
Yeah.
seen the prequel or whatever. And I think that's really interesting, because you're right, these aren't your typical characters.
Hmm.
And so the fact that they come from these really dire situations and they have these really kind of pessimistic outlooks is different from a movie like Hot Rod, which you could also say is a
Hmm.
comeback movie, but the character's just like so
Yeah.
excitable and optimistic and believes in himself, and these
Yeah.
characters, they need to either find that belief again or they need someone else to believe in them.
Yeah, it's like someone, I feel like when life kicks you in the ass so many times like that, it's almost like you know B Rabbit is, he's not completely delusional to the fact that like this could not work. Like he's
Hmm.
like, it's like you're right, like Hot Rod, it's like that type of complete delusion where it's like there's no way this is going to fail.
Hmm.
But then there's also like more a humble approach to it, where it's like, I know what I need to work and do, and I know that I can do that. I know that life can still bring me some shit that's gonna fuck it up. And so there's that humility a little bit of like, it's something that I think people can identify with that, and seeing him kind of care for the people around him too, and understand it's not always just about him, but about the people that he's with as well, which I think is like when Cheddar gets shot, his friend Cheddar Bob, who, by the way, if he wasn't such a fucking idiot, would remind me of Ian Coleman so much. Like if he wasn't such a fucking idiot in this movie, he looks so much like Ian and
That's
has like a little
hilarious.
Ian Coleman, we love you. Shout out to your
Yeah.
boy. But you see him like kind of take care of him and want to see the people around him still be okay, like his little sister who still lives in the trailer with his mom, and even his mom too, you know, and making sure that she's safe from this abuser that she lives with. So yeah, it's like and seeing that and you know and understanding that that's the life he still has to like yeah, it's so many times that or it's a way for the audience to really put themselves in this character and be like, man, like I this is something that we see every day all over the place, and it's just something that you want this person to win so bad.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Within the sense of humility that is in 8 Mile, it's very relatable and so that. But I mean, we're not playing the humility relatable game. We're playing the comeback game, and
Oh,
Aliens
okay.
itself has numerous comebacks, not only just from our protagonist, but
Uh-huh.
from our villains themselves.
All right, well, tell me
Where
about where's the like, where are we at? We're at the Dark Knight of the Soul now. What are we coming back against? Right? Tell me about
so
it. What?
exactly. So we do have Ellen that's coming back to LV-427 and is, I guess, one of the few that actually kind of cares about the colonists that are there. You've got the Marine squad that's gone out there that's kind of, you know, joking around about it. They don't really believe Ellen's story until it happens. And the squad of about 18 personnel is cut down to about 6, not including Ellen and soldiers, and just from the aliens, them going into the alien lair and just getting their asses kicked, as one Marine puts it. Right, game over, man. Game over. We're done. Right? How are we going to
That's
get
a
out of
bar.
here?
That's a
They're
bar.
stuck on an alien planet. They can't get back up to their ship to be able to get home, too. Right? So they have to be able to work themselves out. And you have Ellen, who's already dealing with her own PTSD, not only from the aliens themselves, but from androids, because of the first movie where the android almost tried to kill her. And for this company to do that, she has to then put her trust in the android to actually, you know, be there for them to take care of it. As well as they have their, like, first of many final standoffs, you know, just in the comm center when they have like at least 100 of these aliens coming in, right? Thus, then you know, bringing the numbers down even more and even more. You know, just down to the final 2, you've got them sacrificing each other just to take these other ones out so other people can survive, right? You've got um, Ellen, who's, you know, at one point she's trying to save the little girl as constantly as possible because she's always getting thrust into danger. Um, to the point where then again, when they have the chance to leave and get back up to the ship again, she refuses to go because the little girl gets kidnapped and she
Hmm.
has to go back in to save the little girl. And then she's gone and she's confronting her demons yet again to then make up for her own loss of what had happened with her own daughter, to make up for
Right.
that, her comeback for her own daughter,
Yeah.
and go and fight this alien. um I mean, do I need to finish off the rest of it? Because there's still more comebacks
I
that I've
mean,
got to
listen, I
name yet.
understand you have like the scope of galactic horror coming in at Ripley, and I totally see that, and I think that what I like about that comeback of that is, or like where we see the person at their lowest, for that specifically is how much it relates to the struggle she's already kind of gone through, and again, I think when with that side of things where it's the scope of things seem insurmountable from a you know such a big scale versus seeing something that happens on a very one human scale, it's that's why I think that we have like the comeback for B Rabbit making it a little bit more impactful because when it's such you see that those little hopes, those little things that were kind of there that maybe were going to redeem him get stripped away kind of one after the other in succession, and you see him getting lower and lower, and at the point where you know that it's not going to end with the record deal. It's not going to end the way that some of these other music movies go in, where they get the big stage performance and things kind of are great. It's this thing where you like, please just get up, be able to go to work, my guy. That's all I want to see. And like, even the little victory of him getting an extra shift is so impactful, because you can see him still figuring it out and working towards something and being happy and fulfill or not being happy, but because the guy's not happy. I don't think he smiles once
No.
in the movie. And wait, no, once. I think he does it once at the party.
Just
But
once.
uh but yeah, that's when he gets, this one person, his girlfriend ditched him, and this person that he thought he could connect with sleeps with the guy he thought was going to get him studio time, and has been connecting with their rival group that has kicked the shit out of them in many different ways, and then literally in front of his little infant sister kick the shit out of him in front of his house. Like, it's just, you see him literally pounded by the life of people in poverty, and just, and seeing it at that point where you're like, oh my god, please let me get on that stage, please, I want to see it so bad. And then seeing it, seeing him like find that strength to start the climb up, the rise up out of the darkness, I think is what it's super satisfying, and it makes the comeback so much more, because we listen, we know the alien's about to die. Let's be real, we know the alien's about to die.
Why? How do we know that? How do we know the aliens is about to die? All right, we the only way that the aliens is about to die is only if they're able to get back up to said space mothership to fire off the nukes in the first place, right? And within this, yes, Ellen Ripley is an officer, a navigational officer, right, and kind of knows how to fly, but um, you watch her in the movie like learn how to handle firearms, learn how things go. She actively like seeks them out and is like, hey, teach me how to do this. She doesn't just know it right off the bat. Like, you get to see what comes of it and her failures from it. In fact, then when we said to the point of that, she makes the decision of, instead of stranding the little girl, because she could have done that, she could have stranded the little girl, taken everybody back up to the mothership, nuked it out of orbit, because what's one more life compared to these aliens that could spread it anyway? No, she goes back to save that little girl, takes on the alien queen, comes against the devil that her themselves, right? Goes in, fights the devil, rescues the little girl, and is able to make it out. Also, with the point where she actually makes it out at the final point, the ship is gone that's supposed to take off. You see the catharsis there of her freaking out because, it was the android that was flying it, right? She has a moment. Oh, what happens? You see that the ship has now come back. They just had to do a quick runaround and that he didn't leave her behind, right? So now her perceptions about androids has now been changed because he has actually done the right thing comparably from what had gone in the first movie. So what happens? Oh, they make it up. They blow the nuclear reactor in there, kills all the aliens, right? Now it's a good, happy day. They get up to the alien ship. What's this? As soon as they get out of the alien ship, android speared right to the back. Queen Alien hasn't been done. She's making her comeback now, and she's going to say, fuck this. I'm getting that little girl no matter what. So right away, goes ahead to kill the android. Now Ellen has to now fight the alien queen for a second time. This is a second boss fight that you're seeing in a movie, which does not happen normally. And with the iconic alien queen versus the mech robot scene that everybody that's ever seen the movie can imagine about how they wish they could have it done. And finally getting the catharsis of blowing that bitch out of the airlock. Come on.
So you got come back, two sides, same thing. It's
There's
great.
comebacks all over this movie.
All over the place.
I think
Everyone gets one.
They false end you all the time in it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about catharsis, and so I'm curious, Quasi, what's the catharsis of 8 Mile for you?
Because when he gets that look on his face, first of all, Eminem looks crazy. He looks ready to kill everybody at the end of this movie, and it's almost, you're like, okay, there's no stopping this guy at this point. He knows what he needs to do, and he's ready to just work for it. And it's cool to see like the joyous moments of the rap happen, but it's also great to see a little bit of how not only is he repairing the relationships he has with his closest peers and people, he's seeing, his mother's support. He's seeing, an opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted. Shout out to the lyrics to Lose Yourself. True fans know.
Yes.
Uh it being able to overcome that fear. He's still scared even at the end of this movie to get on stage, but he has his people with him, and it's also really great. The part of the catharsis of him starting so strong with the rap battles, and even that, like, he gets the extra shift, he goes to the battle still, like, asks someone to cover for him and still goes to the battle, and you see him, like, it's the priority is just this. It's not even about the battle to win. It's about him being like, owning this new, like, owning the fact that he can do it and proving to himself that he can do it, and proving to his people that he's ready, he's ready to own that and pursue it and work for it, for his own thing. And that's what's great. Like, even when he's rapping backstage before the battle with Free World and Papa Doc, um, who is like our big bad. um, and it's clear that he does not care about them. He cares about what he's doing and making sure that he can prove it to himself. And then when he gets on stage and starts spitting and absolutely killing everybody, it's so satisfying to see everyone accept him. Everyone who booed him, who choked, who called him for choking out on stage, literally start to accept him, and him starting to see that he can do this and smoke everybody. Doesn't matter, anybody who comes at him, he knows he can do it. That's so satisfying. And seeing that shot of everybody pumping their arms, it's still so powerful, and it's cool. It's just great. It makes it a type of movie where you're like, even you don't have to have that big musical number at the end where he gets the record deal. There's the slow motion shots of, like, the approval of his friends. None of that. It's just it, and then it's the humility of owning that, and then owning what he has actually achieved, which is his own worth, and recognizing that with himself, and that is so satisfying. And then he just goes back to fucking work, and he's like, yes,
Yeah.
that's a boss, that's what you do. It's great.
Well, if you don't mind me interjecting, in the same point when you have for this, you have B Rabbit, who honestly has had all this stuff where people have made fun of him about, and in the movie, he takes an approach that nobody ever thought of and nobody ever saw coming, in which he goes and he clowns on himself way before anybody else does, thus already taking away all of the power of the other
Yeah,
rappers already, which get them all already flustered.
yeah,
Which now he's gotten, in which he says, "There's nothing left for you to do because I've already made fun of myself already.
yeah.
So
What else
all
you
I
got?
got left is on you."
What else you got?
Right. Which is something that you could say is, I don't know about relatable, but something that I think we all kind of wish and strive for, of our own acceptance of our own flaws,
Yeah,
of that I accept of all of these things, and
yeah.
I'll either try to make them better or I just deal with them.
And yeah, and it's like, even like, he does one of the rap battles and he goes back to his friends and he's still like, man, I almost messed it up, and they're like, dude, you can see, like, the support of his, like, that to me is also great, of, like, knowing that this is not something you can do it, the work comes from you, but no one does this thing alone, really. You need to have that team that's ready to support you regardless, and know that, like, whatever you decide to do, they're going to be there to help you out and also have your back when things get crazy, which is great. The 3 on 3rd, they had his back for everything that happened, went down, even when they were being stupid, and that's what I really liked, is that type of kinship in that team, and
Yeah.
also respecting the, like, it could have easily been caricatured in a lot of ways, but I think it was still really well done, of, like, understanding what rap culture is, and being able to kind of represent it in a way that's so real. I thought that was really cool too.
I have another question, if you don't mind me asking.
I don't
Um,
mind you asking.
Thank you. Uh, with Eminem, of also of course being a white male,
Mhm.
how does that affect within the sense of the rap culture, which is predominantly African American?
Sure, I think that it's there always gonna be, I think, people who kind of say that, yes, it's going to be appropriated in a lot of different ways. But I think what Eminem has done, first of all, by proving himself and his skills, as well as always being a representative of where it comes from throughout his working with Dre, that I was working with all his friends with Proof, and everyone can kind of appreciate and show that Eminem is kind of an undeniable music talent that has shaped rap in a lot of different ways, and has always done that through his own way, and being able to kind of bring bring a new type of mentality and kind of shake it up within white culture, but then also be deferential to the fact that I think he really appreciates where this or it comes from. It comes from a place of being able to represent your struggle and be able to kind of showcase that. I'm not going to be the person who speaks for rap culture. I don't. There's so many facets to it. I'm just saying from what I've even from like the way that I came to know rap and hip hop culture, it like for me it was like he's just been such an undeniable talent and still speaks to that, to like what rap is at its peak, is there for, is to identify and help represent you know a struggle in America. And so that's why I think it still works. And Eminem, I think if any you can ask any, yeah, you go and ask any rapper, Evan, and they'll let you know. You watch
No, I
any
mean it's.
interview, they're gonna let you know that, yeah, Eminem is
I mean it's
he's
fair. I
he
mean,
belongs up
if you
there.
really look at it, Eminem is widely respected within the community
Hmm.
for his skill and his talent. Where Eminem is not the first white rapper, he's
Hmm.
the only white rapper. Right? Well, yeah, he's the only white rapper who is respected for his talent and the amount of work that he puts into it. Because I can only really think of two others, which was
Hmm.
Snow and Vanilla Ice, and they are to this day still considered a joke. I mean,
Yeah,
am I wrong?
I
I mean
think
there are many others, but
I
yes.
I think Eminem is likely the most prolific white rapper. I
Yeah.
think there's been a lot more since then, but he kind of like opened the door, I would say, and he had to do it with a lot of support from existing institutions of mostly black rappers
Yeah.
like Dr. Dre, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think it's all intertwined, but I think that that is kind of a layer to 8 Mile into his struggle as well,
Right.
and ultimately the way he overcomes that and the way I think Eminem the rapper as himself also overcomes that is just kind of calling out like, yes, I'm white. Like
Yeah. And oh, he's not, yeah, owning it, not being like afraid to say, yes, this is who I am, but I'm
mhm.
using this art form to talk about it through my lens, and yet
Yeah.
still respecting where it comes from. And it also helps if you're making a movie about it to then make arguably one of the best rap songs of all time.
Yeah.
It kind of
Right.
helps, when you're able to like, I'm gonna make this movie, just so you know, I'm gonna put this out there as well. Let me get this Oscar right quick.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
but yeah, so yeah, I think that's we have the rise. We have victory over the aliens. We have victory over your
Anthony
struggle.
Mackie.
Victory over Anthony Mackie, the other the other our big bad villain of our
It's
stories.
crazy.
Um, Casey, I think the floor is yours now. What do you think? What
Okay,
movie
this
best
is like
comeback?
this I think this might be the hardest one for me so far because I have I have been the judge on a few of these where I either watched the movie in preparation for the podcast so I had already seen the other one and had like a little bit of an edge for it, or I just like so clear like I went in knowing probably which one I thought was better and then the arguments supported it. This one is really hard because I love both of these movies so much and they both totally work for me as a comeback story. And I think that what I keep coming back to is that the legacy of 8 Mile, I mean, obviously Eminem was already a person, but I feel like the legacy of 8 Mile really came after the movie because of l- the ubiquity of Lose Yourself. Like, it's still a meme. People still do mom spaghetti in our year 2022. So, like, that's a huge thing. And then you kind of recognize that this movie is about him, and so you can assume that this character goes on to become Eminem, like that is who he is, and all of that adds to this epicness. Whereas with Aliens, like I said, the legacy came before the movie, and Alien is already like one of the most regarded sci-fi horror alien movies of all time, and then you come in with this sequel that is somehow just as good or arguably better depending on who you ask. Like, I think you could have done this whole podcast Alien versus Aliens and had a very strong argument for both. And so ultimately I am giving it to Aliens because I think that the story of a sequel being that good and representing the comeback on that kind of esoteric level as well as within the plot is really impressive.
Back to the lab again. I'm going.
Sorry, Quincy. I really like. I was there with you because it's not about the scale, and I think that's some people might think like, oh, well, it's the fate of the universe versus this guy, and
Mm,
so that's not it for me. Like the scale is not it. It's just the fact that like making a sequel this good is already a comeback. Like coming back from a movie like Alien is how it's just amazing to me.
It's
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I mean, you could say the same thing about with Terminator 2 as
Mhm.
well. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing it's one of the problems that I think that a lot of times that we have for some of these movies is that when the sense of like money really comes into it, they start pumping out too many more sequels of it, which is why nobody really cares about like anything that's like Alien or Terminator 3 on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's just it's never for that. But like where aliens themselves like it would be a hard fight against the first movie because Alien was a sci-fi horror, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's all really about um what is it, like isolation, claustrophobia, right? You're furthest away from home from anywhere else, right?
And like maybe the greatest jump scare of all time.
Greatest jump scare. There's also like it was purposely made to scare men more than
Mhm.
women, with a lot of HR Geigers. Yeah, because was it the chest burster itself was supposed to be part of the horror aspect of it, of the men. Like if you see for most alien movies, aside from one, I think is it's Alien vs Predator, it's usually a male who has a chest burster
Mhm.
from it, which is supposed to be that kind of thing of like men will never really understand what it is to give birth, so it seems like a horrific
Well, and the
event.
little flower ones are like very vaginal, and
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, no, like everything. If you watch Alien, you'll see like the ship itself, like all
yeah,
of it is made to be extremely um overtly sexy in HR Geiger's deal.
yeah.
Um but then Aliens is one of the few movies that I would say jumps the genre ship,
Mhm.
because Aliens isn't really a horror movie. Sure, it has some horrifying elements, but it's an action adventure.
Yeah.
It's not the horror of the running away from this one alien. It's the survival action of killing multiple ones. Like now
Yeah.
with the sense of having actual firepower, it's not
Right.
as scary. So what do you do in order to fix that? You have a
Right.
horde.
Yeah.
Totally. Well,
Uh,
listen, it was well earned, Sir Evan. It I
Thank you.
definitely, yeah, I saw Aliens. I was like, I don't know, but no, I get it. Um, I was bumping
well,
Lose
well
Yourself so
defended.
much. Yeah, yeah,
I
well
thought the
defended.
same way when it came to 8 Mile. I was like, man, that's really tough, because we had talked about possibly changing movies too, and I was like, there's nothing that's really gonna beat 8 Mile. Like I got to pull out a trump card for this one.
yeah. Well, you know what? No, that was great. Thank you for bringing your A game. It was. I want to watch Alien and Aliens again now.
Oh,
It,
please,
so
please get
good.
the
To throw
special
those on.
edition. It's so well worth watching the extra special edition that has the
Yeah.
extended stuff,
Okay.
because it makes the story that much better.
Well, perfect. I know what my weekend's looking like. Well, great. Well, you know what? We did it. Thank you so much, guys. Our thanks to our panelist Evan Christopher, my amazing
Once
co-host
again,
Casey Rom. Thank you so much. My name is Quasi Phillips. A big thank you to everyone listening. Tune in next week for our next regularly scheduled 24 Flames episode. For more information about our extra content, our Patreon for extended plays, hot takes and drink alongs, or any extra 24 Flames goodies, you can follow us on social media at 24 Flames Pod. Give us a rating on any platform that you get podcasts. Partyfish Media is produced by me, Quasi Phillips, Robert Spiewak Bohorquez, and Will Paulson. Our show music was created by Rob Joins and Will Paulson. We have an awesome website, partyfish.media. That's partyfish.media. You can follow us there and any of the great podcasts on our platform by following at Partyfish Media on social, including Save the D8, hosted by who? Evan Christopher. Oh my God.
Oh,
Who's on the
pshaw.
podcast? Evan, where can people
I-
find Save the DA content?
Oh, you can find the Save the D8 on any of your favorite podcatchers. You can also find it on the Partyfish Media website that connects to ours. And you know what? If you have an off-brand one that not everyone else has, there's an RRS link that you can just put that in, and boom, you'll get it right off the bat. No
Love
problem.
it. Perfect. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Evan. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Partyfish Media.
Partyfish Media acknowledges that it operates and records on indigenous Duwamish and Puget Sound Coast Salish land that is still home to the Duwamish tribe. This land is stolen in violation of the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855. We are committed to uplifting the name of these lands and community members from these nations who reside alongside us. For more information on this land, its people, or ways you can help, visit duwamishtribe.org or realrentduwamish.org.